Is paying off a mortgage really just 30 years or when you die? Is that the only option, or can you pay off your mortgage early? I know you can pay off your mortgage early because we've been doing it, and a lot of people that watch my channel have already paid off their mortgage and live without any debt at all. There are a lot of reasons why people pay off their mortgage, and in this video I'm going to share some of the ways that you could pay off your mortgage faster. The first thing you need to do if you want to pay off your mortgage is to actually understand how mortgages work. It is really unfortunate that a lot of people don't understand what is actually going into their mortgage and how it's being paid off. If you're one of those people that don't understand how it works, you have a couple options. You can watch some videos or read some articles about how mortgage interest works, or you can get an amortization schedule from your mortgage company that lists out all the payments that you're going to be making. It will show every payment that you have left and what percentage of that payment goes toward principal to pay down the mortgage balance, what amount of that payment goes toward interest, and what the mortgage balance will be after you make that payment. I found that this is the best way for people to actually understand and visually see how a mortgage works, how they're paying more interest per payment up front, and how that gets lower toward the end of their balance. So definitely make sure that you understand how your mortgage is working and get this information in front of you and understand what you can do if you start paying off things faster. A really simple way to pay off your mortgage faster is to just set up bi-weekly payments. This is something that most mortgage companies will do for free. Definitely check because they don't all do it for free without a penalty, but most of them will allow you to do a bi-weekly payment. This just means that you are splitting up your payment into half, and then you're making that payment every 2 weeks. So you're not doing it twice a month, but you're actually doing it every 2 weeks, which is 26 times per year. And 26 times per year means that you're making actually 13 whole payments per year instead of 12. So when you make that 13th payment, that whole payment goes toward principal reduction. So that means twice a year, your bi-weekly payment, that whole amount is going to reduce your mortgage balance by that full payment. With our mortgage, for example, our payment is $1,460, so we were paying $730 every 2 weeks on a bi-weekly schedule. So once in December, we had a $730 payment that reduced our mortgage balance by $730. Then again, in 6 months later on in the year, we had another one of our payments, $730, reduce it again. This is a great way to both budget for your mortgage and also to pay it off faster. It's really a lot easier for most people to do it this way, so I highly recommend setting it up if you have that option. Another way to pay off your mortgage faster is just to make extra payments. It sounds simple, right? But a lot of people don't do this because the time and thought process is not there. You can do this a ton of different ways. One of the easiest ways is to think of that last example, where you're making one full payment per year extra. If you want to keep this simple, you can make extra payments every single month that will add up to that full mortgage payment per year. So for example, we pay $1,460 for a mortgage payment. So if we divide that by 12, it's roughly $121 or round up to $122. So every month of the year, we could set up an extra $122 payment that goes straight toward principal. You have to make sure it goes toward principal reduction, and that $122 would reduce it every single month throughout the year. So at the end of the year, we've paid a whole mortgage payment toward our principal reduction. This is a great way to do it. It also breaks it up a lot more so that you're only putting a small amount every single month. So it doesn't raise your payments that much, but it makes a huge difference overall. Another way to pay down your mortgage is to put any big lump sums you get toward your mortgage reduction. If you get a big payment anytime throughout the year, you can use that money to pay down your mortgage, and that will pay it off a lot faster. So what kind of situations do people get these big chunks of money that they can put toward this debt? It can be things like tax returns, yearly bonuses, inheritances, winning the lottery. It can be insurance settlements. There's lots of different ways that you can come into money that you can use that big chunk to pay down your mortgage and have it jump way ahead in the schedule so that you're paying way less interest and pay it off in full faster. Another way that sometimes works is to refinance your mortgage. This only really works if you are refinancing to a lower interest rate. If you're refinancing to a higher interest rate, it likely won't make a difference unless you're reducing your PMI payment or something like that. But usually it only works if you're refinancing to a lower rate. By reducing your interest rate, you are paying less in interest and more of your money will go toward principal. It can really speed up how much you are paying on your mortgage, and this will go a lot faster. So this strategy might not work in the current environment, but back in 2020 or in the future when interest rates go down, this can be a great strategy to refinance and pay less interest so that you pay off your mortgage faster. Additionally, if you are refinancing, you could also refinance to a 15-year mortgage. By switching from a 30-year to a 15-year mortgage, you are obviously going to be paying off your mortgage faster. When we refinanced our mortgage personally in 2020, we decided to do this so that we could naturally just pay it off a lot quicker than 30 years. So instead of finishing way in the future, we will be done with our mortgage in a little bit over 10 years because we've been paying extra and we refinanced to a 15-year mortgage. If you are going to refinance and you are really focused on wanting to pay off your mortgage faster, this is a great strategy. These last couple ones might get a little bit of pushback because I see people not wanting to do them, but they do really work. And one of the ways that you can pay off your mortgage faster is to actually rent out part of your home so that you're earning money and you put that money toward extra payments. So you can rent out a room in your house, you could rent out part of your backyard, you could rent out a shed if you have one, you could rent out your driveway. Depending on where you live, these can work or not, but the most common thing you can do is rent out rooms in your house. If you're paying a mortgage, especially if you're single, if you are single and young, rent out rooms in your house, have those people pay you rent, and put that money directly toward your mortgage. This is such a great strategy, especially if you're in your 20s and you're younger. It's called house hacking, and having people live with you, pay you rent, and using that money to pay down your mortgage to move yourself forward financially is such a great thing to do. And if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend you do it. And the final way you could pay off your mortgage faster is to actually sell your home, downsize to a smaller home, and get a smaller mortgage. Not a lot of people like to downsize and go backwards, but if you are paying less for your home, you're gonna be able to pay it off faster if that is your priority. And of course, if it's not a priority, don't worry about it. But if you want to live debt-free but still own your home, consider making a switch to a less expensive home or a smaller home. Downsizing can reduce the amount you owe on your mortgage, and if you make a profit from your previous home, you can put it on your new mortgage so that you have even less to pay. This is a really great option, especially if you're older, if you're going into retirement, if you want to go into retirement without having a mortgage payment, and you don't have any kids around, you can downsize to something smaller, something easier to take care of, but also that you can pay off faster. And the final thing that I want to say about paying off your mortgage faster is to avoid risky schemes that sound too good to be true. There are lots of YouTubers and people online that want to sell you on ideas that are risky and flawed and don't necessarily work for normal people. Things like velocity banking. This is something people have asked me about before because I like the idea of paying off a mortgage. But something like velocity banking sounds too good to be true. And there's a reason why when you try to research it, it's only random YouTube videos and sketchy websites. It's because it's not a normal way that people pay off mortgage faster. It's something that people have made up and sounds good, but doesn't necessarily work out for most people. Honestly, this one's a little weird because with this one, they take out a line of credit, usually a HELOC, and then they put that money toward the mortgage, and then they use cash flow from their job or whatever to pay down the line of credit, and then they repeat it. And honestly, if it sounds like a house of cards, that's because it is. Like if you were watching a whiteboard and it sounds like this magical solution that will allow you to be debt-free and pay off your mortgage really fast. So don't fall for risky schemes like this. Do the hard work, do it right, do it in a way that makes sense and won't get you in a risky scheme where you could potentially lose your house because you're falling behind on some payments. Basically, I just want you to be cautious. If you hear something that sounds too good to be true, make sure you're aware not only of the benefits, but the real risk behind it, because there are risks that these people don't ever talk about. So just be careful, do what makes sense, but really, honestly, do the hard work and pay off your mortgage by making more money, putting that money toward the mortgage, and just eliminating it faster. If you want to see some of these examples in real life and some of our past mortgage payoff videos, definitely check them out over here. I have shared a lot on this channel as we work to pay off our mortgage. I will see you in the next one.